All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to have you here as we dive into the newest release. We have a lot of really great things to share with you. My name is Lyndon. I am a software support and training specialist team lead here at Blueprint. And before we get started, I have just a few housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded and will be available on our website in the next few weeks. So if you want to revisit anything or share it with a colleague, you will be able to do that. My colleague, Jenny, is monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to drop them in there. We'll do our best to get to as many of your questions during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And finally, to help keep things running smoothly, please make sure your cameras and microphones are turned off to avoid any disruptions. Today we're going to be covering the new preferred phone number, draft orders, new document folders, voice-to-text dictation with AI, interactive patient texting, also known as interactive SMS, and our 3 new marketing automation campaigns. I'm going to go ahead and open up our system here, and we're going to start with that patient preferred number. When we go to the patient's details tab, you are now going to see these 3 stars next to each number. To mark one as preferred, you'll just click that star and make sure you hit update after. It's going to let you know that the patient file is updated, and this will show up in a few different places. First, in the appointment, the notes is now going to populate that patient preferred number. The next time that you open the patient file, you will see on the summary page that that preferred number has the star icon next to it. For our US customers, this phone number will also populate on your HCFAs. Moving right along to the draft order. To start your draft order, it's the same as starting a regular order. You can go to the shopping cart or order new aid at the bottom. First, let's add our hearing aids to the cart. And going through this order, you can add any other items. It's just like building a regular order. That includes adding any services, batteries, and accessories, but I'm just going to stick with these hearing aids. On your cost allocation page, you can adjust your pricing and your items just like you regularly would. The only thing different is at the bottom, we now have this Save as Draft button. When we click this, it will prompt us to generate a quote. And this is our regular quote template, and I'm going to archive this for the patient. And we'll come back to that archived quote in a bit. Now in the hearing aids tab, we have a new status called drafts. So you can see I have a couple of different draft orders here. This is helpful so that if my patient is considering different technology options, they can let me know which one they prefer and I can proceed with that one. This is also good for letting you create the order in Blueprint before you actually order in real life. On these draft hearing aids, we have a few options when we right-click. Edit details will allow you to edit the item details. Draft details will allow you to edit the draft. So you can go back and add or edit any items and just make sure to hit update draft at the bottom. You can also delete your draft from here if the patient decides not to proceed. And you can convert to order. You can generate a fresh quote template by right-clicking. And finally, when you hit this convert to order option, it takes you back to that same page we just saw a moment ago. This time we are going to hit convert to order. It'll ask us if we would like to generate an order form, and from this point on, this is just a regular order. Nothing from this point is any different. The aids will now be in an ordered status. A couple of other new things that come along with these draft orders. On the patient summary page, you're going to see the shopping cart and a note that there is a draft order on file. As well, in the orders module, you can now filter your order status for draft and see any existing draft orders in your system. Back in the patient profile, we're going to go on to the new document updates. In the Documents tab, you will now see all of your documents here, and on the left, your categories. So categories can be maintained in the Setup menu, under Documents, Categories. And categories aren't new, but we are now just using them to folder up your Documents tab. So let's say I have a look at this Documents tab and I see that correspondence is in the wrong category. I can move it really quickly over to the correct one by clicking and dragging, and I can drop it into accounting/billing documents. If I only want to see those accounting and billing documents, I can click on the category over here and filter my documents accordingly. So I see I have a duplicate quote here. What I can do is I can right-click to delete. It'll ask if it's okay to delete the selected documents. I'm going to say yes. I realize I deleted the wrong July 9th quote and I need to recover it. I can click on this deleted filter up here. And I'm going to see any of my documents that have been deleted. You'll see there are two different tags here for deleted and deleted permanently. When I have a deleted document, I can right-click and I have a couple of options here. I can restore. So if I need to bring back my document that I deleted on accident, and then I want to delete the correct one this time, now I can go back to deleted and I can remove this permanently from the system. We have this option because any document that is in just deleted status is still counting toward your document storage. When I go to delete permanently, I'm going to get a confirm operation dialog, letting me know that this action cannot be reversed. I'm going to proceed anyway. Now it's been deleted permanently, and when we right click, the only thing I can do is rename it if I would like to, or give it a description. This way, if somebody comes through, they can get a little more information on why I decided to delete this permanently. And to confirm, once a document is deleted permanently, it cannot be recovered by your clinic or our team. The document is gone forever. There are two privileges associated with deleting documents. The first is an existing privilege called delete documents, and the second is delete documents permanently, and that is new with our version 4.8 upgrade. We also have a new page up here in Tools called Deleted Documents. When we come here, we can see any of our documents in deleted status. So if we want to use this as a sort of recycling bin, we can. When you right-click one of these, you have the option to restore, delete permanently. I can look at the patient details, and I can also select all. When I have multiple selected, I can restore or delete permanently en masse. I can also, instead of selecting all, hold Control on my keyboard and click to select each file that I would like to include in my restore or deletion. Moving right along to our Blueprint AI and dictation. As part of the beta release, we're offering this feature at no additional cost. However, please note that there may be usage fees for this tool as it evolves and becomes more advanced in the future. So if you're interested in how using AI can benefit your clinic, now is a great time to give it a try with our Blueprint AI. I also want to note that Blueprint AI is separate from our Heidi Health integration, which is also part of our 4.8 release. We had a separate dedicated webinar to the Heidi Health integration, so if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check that out on our video tutorials page up on our website. I also want to note that dictation can be used without enabling Blueprint AI. They are two different tools. If you would like to enable Blueprint AI, let's head back into Blueprint and take a look at the setup menu. There's a new tab here called Blueprint AI Beta, and this is only going to be accessible to owners. You cannot grant your other users access to this page. And the only thing here for us to do is enable Blueprint AI. This enables it for your entire system, but you will need to grant your users the View Blueprint AI privilege, and they'll need to close and reopen to see it take effect. There are several places throughout Blueprint that you can use dictation in AI. The first we're going to cover is the journal. So when we come here, we can hit New Entry at the bottom, and we have these new buttons at the top here. The first, we can insert the name, date, and time. So this will insert the name of whichever user is logged in, the date, and the time that we clicked this button. You can also use our dictation by clicking this microphone. Important thing to note that dictation is only fully supported for Windows. Mac users will need to use their configured keyboard shortcut in order to launch dictation. So if you're on a Windows computer, you can click this microphone and it's going to launch the dictation tool. This is what it will look like, and you'll click this button to stop recording. I'm going to try that again and read out what I have to put in this note. Patient reported some strange feedback noise from devices and difficulty hearing on the phone with hearing aids in. Patient in for annual hearing exam evaluated with mild to moderate sensorineural sloping hearing loss. Hearing aids were cleaned and serviced, changed filters and domes, adjustment done for both left and right hearing aid. Listening check revealed good sound quality of both hearing aids. After we stop recording, it may take a couple moments in order to place your text into the note. And there we go. And from here, you can manually clean up this note if you would like. You can also utilize our rewrite and summarize tools. So rewrite and summarize are part of the Blueprint AI feature. Rewrite allows you to customize the tone, language, and length of your text. Summarize reviews the text entered and generates a polished professional summary. So if I want to use either of these, let's go ahead and click on the rewrite button here. And I can adjust this tone. So let's keep it professional for my medical note. And I want to keep this short and concise as well. Here you can see we have several language options to choose from. I'm going to stick with English. And when I'm ready, I can hit rewrite at the bottom. It'll take a few moments to generate the output. And from here, I have a few options. I can accept this note, and this will replace the original note that I entered. I can reject it, and it will close this Blueprint AI window. Or I can copy, and then it's in my computer's clipboard, and I can paste it anywhere throughout my computer. I'm going to go ahead and hit accept. If I wanted to summarize, I can hit that little journal, and I can also toggle between the two after I launch this window. And summarize will create that summary for you. I'm going to show you the summary here in a different spot in just a moment. From here, I can save my entry, and now it's just a regular journal entry. Because I enabled Blueprint AI after I open that patient file, let me just close and reopen. And then we'll see at the top we have a new button, and that is Summarize. When we click it, we have a few different options to choose from. We have the last 7 days, the last 30 days, and all entries. I can also select specific entries by clicking, and then I can hold Control on my keyboard to select the other notes. When I'm ready, I can come back to Summarize and hit Selected Entries. And it'll take a few moments, but it will generate a summary of the selected notes for me. From here, I can copy, and then I can paste this either into a journal entry somewhere else in Blueprint, maybe as a message to another user, or outside of Blueprint if I choose. Another place we can use these tools is in an invoice note. So if we go back to that order I started, let's right-click and go to Order Details to edit. Down in the Notes section, I can click down here, and I have access to the rewrite, the name, date, and timestamp, and dictation. Summarize is not available here. I can also use these tools under audiology in an audiological report. So if I right-click my audiogram, choose my template, and let's say I want to use these tools in the recommendations box here. I'm going to navigate to the right side of the screen where I see my double click to bring up advanced editing options. I'll find the corresponding box, which is recommendations, and double click. Here, again, we have access to the rewrite, name, date, and timestamp, and dictation, which I accidentally turned on for a moment. You can also use these tools for creating or editing text snippets, which we can actually do here in this advanced editing options screen. So I could create a text snippet using the rewrite and dictation tools. I can also use these tools in chat with another coworker of mine. And I have access to the rewrite, a new tool called reply, and dictation. I'll show you reply in action in a little bit, but in essence, reply will pull in the last message that Jennifer sent me and generate a response for me to send back to Jennifer. You might have also noticed in the bottom right here, we have this sparkle icon. Clicking this will open the global AI tool. So here we have access to the rewrite, summarize, and reply tools. So I could paste in, let's say, an email that I got from another provider. So let's say Dr. Finn sent me an email requesting a copy of Michael's latest medical report. I can paste this email into the global tool and hit generate. And after a moment, it will give me an email that I can send back to Dr. Finn regarding this matter. And then I can hit copy and I can go and paste this back into my email response. Please note that anything created or entered into this global tool cannot be saved here. This is just meant for pasting things in and copying things out. Last but certainly not least, you can utilize the Blueprint AI and dictation features with the new interactive SMS tools, which we will dive into here in a moment. As a recap, I'll come back here. These new tools, the insert name, date, and time, and the dictation tools are separate from Blueprint AI and will be available to all users by default. However, summarize and rewrite will only be accessible if you have enabled Blueprint AI for your clinic and users have the appropriate View Blueprint AI privilege. Moving right along to interactive SMS. If you would like to enable, you're going to go to your setup menu. I'm going to switch over to a different system here. We'll go into setup, and right under Blueprint AI, we also have SMS messaging. To start out with, only owners are going to have the new privilege needed to access this page. But if you would like other users to be able to access this page in the setup menu, you will need to grant them the Maintain SMS Messaging Settings privilege. To get started, you'll hit Enable Interactive Messaging, and you will get a consent acknowledgement notice. Make sure to review this thoroughly, and you can hit yes when you're ready. After we acknowledge that consent notice, we have each location in our system gets its own line. And if you only have one location in your system, you'll see that one location here as well. To start the provisioning process, you can right-click the applicable location and go to Edit Details. Depending on your region, you'll see different options here, but these are all of the possible options. First is Use Clinic Number. So this would be for a phone number that your clinic owns, like a landline most often. And the perk of this option is that it's a familiar number that your patients already trust. So it establishes some trust in your new texting communications. When we click Next, the first thing we'll need to do is enter the existing phone number here. The second thing you'll need is a signed letter of authorization, which you can download by clicking here. The last thing you'll need is your last month's phone bill to show proof of ownership of the phone number. If your phone bill does not include the phone number that you've entered in this first step, you can attach multiple pages as long as it's in the same file. After you provide those three things, there will be a second page for you to fill out, and this is what it will look like. Everything in this purple color is required information, and you can click on these eye icons to get a little bit more information if needed. Heading back to Blueprints, the second option we have is to choose a new phone number. And depending on your region, you'll see some different options up here. I'm in the US, so I see all of our states. And you can just hit search here, and it will provide you with a multitude of numbers to choose from based on the state you selected. Optionally, you can enter a specific area code if desired, and you can enter a series of numbers you would like the number to end it with, or you would just like to be somewhere within the phone number. This can be helpful if you want a 1-800-HERE number or something like that. We also have this toll-free checkbox, and if we hit search again, it will give us several toll-free numbers to choose from. Toll-free numbers are helpful for clinics who have locations across multiple states or provinces. It's a more neutral number instead of being stuck to a certain state. Toll-free numbers are also free for your patients to respond to. The other two options we have here are to change or remove a phone number. This will probably be later down the line for you, but if you need to change a phone number for a location or remove a phone number in use, you can do so. And the last option is meant to be used for satellite locations or part-time locations, maybe a mobile clinic that won't have its own phone number. We do recommend that each full-time location provision its own phone number and then reserve this grouping option for those part-time clinics. After you provision a phone number, it won't be immediately ready for you to use. There are provisioning times based on your location and the number you use. In the meantime, you'll see these different icons. So while provisioning is in progress, you will see this clock icon. If provisioning fails, you will see this caution triangle. If you see this icon, please send in a support ticket and we can help troubleshoot the issue. Finally, if you see no icon on the phone number, that means provisioning was completed successfully and you're free to start texting. While you are waiting for provisioning to complete, it would be a good idea to give your users the new privileges. So first is that privilege that I mentioned previously, maintain SMS messaging settings, and that just allows the user to access the page in setup. The more day-to-day privileges are going to be view SMS messages, send SMS messages, and delete SMS messages. As for how long provisioning will take, that depends on your region and the type of phone number. I should note now that interactive SMS is only available currently in Canada, the United States, and the UK. Going through these different provisioning times, in Canada, a new phone number will take 1 to 2 business days. A new toll-free number will take 1 to 2 weeks, and an existing clinic number will take about a week. In the US, a new phone number will take 2 to 3 weeks, a new toll-free number will take 1 to 2 weeks, and an existing clinic number will take 2 to 3 weeks. Because of restrictions in the UK, the only option here is going to be provisioning a new phone number, and that will take around 1 to 2 weeks. If you are interested in seeing pricing, please send in a support ticket and we can provide you the pricing details for your region. Moving right along, let's take a look at what the new messaging module looks like. Heading back into Blueprint, you'll see on your left main menu, we have this new icon called Messaging. To start a new conversation, you can click this button down here. And the patient's existing mobile number will populate along with the location that they are assigned in details. If you have multiple phone numbers, you can click this drop down to select the specific number you would like to use for sending these texts. And if you need to change the number for the patient, you can double click under destination. I'm going to use the number that Ellie has on file and hit OK. From here, I can start texting. At the bottom, we have these different options. So we have the rewrite we mentioned, or reply. So if Ellie had sent me a text back, I can use reply to generate a response. Dictation, emojis, an option to insert clinic name, and an option to insert my user signature. So let's say I want to reach out to Ellie regarding an annual visit. To insert a line break, if I were to just hit enter now, it would send the text. So if I want to do a line break, I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard and hit enter. And let's insert my user signature and another line break, and I'll do the clinic name. When I'm ready to hit send, I can hit enter or this little paper airplane down here. I'll go ahead and give them a few minutes to respond, and let's take a look at the other options we have here. When you right-click any of these conversations, you have some interactive SMS-specific options at the top. So you can mark a text as answered, you can mark it as spam, you can assign this conversation to another user, and you can delete the conversation. These next three options are action items for the patient, so we can book them an appointment, we can create a recall for them, or add them to a patient group for marketing purposes. Finally, we can open the patient profile from here, and we can mark them as do not text. So if the patient responds to you and lets you know that it is not appropriate to contact them via text, doing this will update their details tab, and it will also add this tag here. So there is a visual notice that you should not be texting this patient. On the left here, you might have noticed these options. So you can look at all of your texts for this location. You can also search up a conversation by the patient's last name. You can see any unanswered texts. So an unanswered text is when a patient has sent you something. It'll filter into this folder here. Once you have answered a text, it will come into this folder here. I can see any conversations assigned to me, which conveniently are all of the answered texts. And you can also see in yellow which user it's assigned to. If I had any drafts, I would see those here. Any conversations marked as spam go here. And finally, if I've deleted any conversations, I'll see that in the trash. Over on the left-hand side next to messaging, you might see these needs action badges. So I have this red one here. When I click on it, it's just going to take me to all of the unanswered conversations. So regardless of the user it's assigned to. If I click this green badge, it'll take me to the assigned to me folder, and the number you see here is specifically the number of unanswered conversations. So we can see after a refresh that Ellie has responded saying, yes, please, I'm free at 3 p.m. We could utilize that reply tool that we took a look at earlier, generate a response. And once I hit accept, it will paste that text into a message here. Let's say I need to reassign this to another user. I can also leave an internal note here on the conversation. So before I reassign this to somebody else in the clinic, I can say, and then once I hit enter, it'll attach this note into the message thread, and anything in yellow the patient cannot see. Then if I need to reassign, I can right click and assign and send this over to Jennifer. Now it's removed from my assigned to me, but if I ever need to access it, I can still go into the answered category or all. Over on the right here, you'll see your text snippets, or some of them rather. You can use text snippets with interactive SMS, and if you're familiar with this tool, these are all of the same steps that you are already using. If you're new to using text snippets, there are a few ways that you can get these sentences or these chunks of text into your messages. You can double click. You can click and drag. Or you can use the text in this little black box. And as long as it's entered correctly, the system will prompt you to press enter to replace the text. And it will place your text snippet. If you would like to use any text snippets for interactive SMS, you'll go into your setup menu, look for text snippet categories near the bottom. You can right-click your category and edit details, and then you would check for interactive SMS. So you can use existing text snippets in your system, or you can create new ones. If you do not utilize our text snippets, you can hide this panel by clicking this blue arrow in the top right corner. There is also a new tab in the patient profile. So if we go to Jenny here and we look for messaging, we can see any conversations with that patient, and we can also text them from here. If we hadn't texted them previously, we can also create the conversation from here. The last thing I should mention are appointment reminders. You will be able to see outgoing SMS appointment reminders. So let's find here. We can see that this appointment invitation was sent out and the day and time that it was sent out. If the patient responds to confirm their appointment with either a Y or an N, that will get filtered into your answered inbox. If the patient responds with anything other than Y or N, like Lizzie did here, that gets filtered into your unanswered inbox. This way, standard responses that are just meant to confirm the appointment will not clog up your inbox. Moving on to our last new feature, we're going to talk about the new marketing campaigns. The first new campaign is called Google Review Request One Day. This campaign is designed to encourage positive patient feedback. This marketing tool targets patients with completed appointments from the day before, making it easy for you to gather reviews while the experience is fresh in their minds. This campaign is a bit different from our other marketing campaigns. If you haven't already utilized one of our online review integrations, this will be a 3-day setup process. That setup workflow looks like day 1, enabling the campaign and editing the email template. Day 2, you would be editing your event types to enable online review. Optionally on day 2, you can also check patients as do not request online review. And on day 3, that is when your first campaign will go out. So let's look at what that workflow looks like in Blueprint. Back in your setup menu, we're going to head to marketing automation to enable the campaign. We'll look for Google review request, and you can right-click to edit details. Now we can mark this campaign as active for email, and optionally you can also check if it's a commercial message. The corresponding email template will pre-populate here for you, and you can hit update. Still on day 1, we need to go and update our email template. We're going to go to templates, double-click marketing, and we're going to go into email. We can search for our Google and Facebook review template, and to start editing, you will right-click to launch template editor. Here's what that template looks like again for you. And you'll see here that you need to insert any of your review links. So here we've left spots for Google and Facebook reviews, but you're welcome to customize this template to meet your clinic's needs. The reason that this takes a couple of days is because if you have not previously used one of our online review integrations, your system needs an overnight restart in order to activate online review. So on day 2, you'll need to adjust your event types to allow for online review. To do so, you're going to go down to scheduling, still in the setup menu, double-click, and go to event types. For any event type that we want online review requests to go out for, you can right-click to edit details, and you're now going to have access to the online review enabled checkbox. We'll check this and hit update. And now on the right, we can see there is a tag saying online review, and any of these event types will prompt for an online review request if they are marked as completed the day previously. You can stop here on day 2. However, if you have some patients that are maybe hard to please and you don't want to prompt them to leave you reviews, you can go to the patient file under marketing, and you're going to have this checkbox called do not request online review. If you're checking this for the first time, make sure that you check and then hit update. Finally, on day 3, that is when you will see your first campaign starting to go out. Here's what that workflow looks like again. And moving right along. The second campaign that we've added is called New Quick Ad Contact Inquiry. This campaign reaches out to new quick ads created the prior day that have no upcoming appointments, ensuring that they stay connected and aware of their next steps in your care process. The only thing that you'll need to do for this campaign is launch the template editor to edit this Book Now button. If you're unfamiliar with editing the email templates, you can check out our video tutorials page, and we have a video covering how to use that tool in depth. The final campaign is called Patient Referral One Day. This email campaign targets your existing patients who have referred new patients added to your database from the previous day, helping you leverage word of mouth marketing. This is great for clinics who have referral programs for their patients, and the email that you see here would be sent to the existing patient who referred you the new patient. And as you can see, there's no PHI included for the new patient in your system. In order for this campaign to work correctly, you do need to mark your patients as the referral source when creating patients. To do that, when you are creating your quick ad or your new patient and you're prompted for the referral source, so let's say Jenny here referred us this new patient. I need to click this filter here for patients, and then I can search up Jenny's name. Once I hit OK, we can see that the referral source for this patient is Jenny, and Blueprint will accurately recognize that Jenny referred us this patient, and tomorrow she will get an email thanking us for the referral. And that is everything that I had to cover today. We will be sending this out, the recording out, in the next few weeks. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you for your time. Bye now.